What's going on, everyone? It's LP, writer and creator of the comic books Nyobi and Savage Syn, and I'm here to talk about the top 10 reasons, in my opinion, why people may be dipping out of the hobby. And it's sad for me to say that as a comic book creator, but it is a reality that I have seen that less and less people are not interested in comics, right? Yeah, when was the last time you went to a comic book shop and saw a group of teenagers put together a pull list? They're buying manga. What I have seen and what I have noticed is that an increasing amount of older people, say my age, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, right, are all starting to sell off their comics. And I think that we've all kind of done it a little too late. I think that comic books just aren't as popular as they used to be. I think as we get older, that we start looking at this big box of paper that we have and go, is this really coming to the grave with me? Do I really need this in my life now? Or is it time to try and cash out, get some money back, and maybe put that money towards things like bills, car payments, house payments, emergency money, whatever the case may be that you may need that money for? So, here is a list of top 10 reasons that I believe could be why you want to sell your comics. And by the way, we're just seeing a video flash on the screen. I got got it volume turned off. This is actually from Sticky Goose Comics, as he is selling off the rest of his comic book collection, which is what prompted me to do this video. So let's go ahead and take a look. So I think the number one reason is declining market value. Okay, I just think that the books are just going down. Now, some people are going to argue with me, but some books are going up. And maybe the real blue chip keys might be holding their value, but even then I'm hearing some things are dipping. Look, you're not selling a Superman #1. You're not getting $9 million, right? You might be lucky if you got $9 for the book in front of us. It just is. People are into the golden age now, more so even in the silver age. Forget about the Bronze Age or Copper Age or modern books. I don't think anyone cares about those anymore. It just is. Number two, financial needs and debt payoff. People got credit card bills, rent, funding life changes. Okay. People need money. We're in a tight financial time. And a lot of people bought comic books as some sort of investment, which was a poor choice. I know I was one of them. When I was 14 years old collecting comic books, I remember buying my first back issue. It was X-Men 129, the first appearance of Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost. I didn't even think about Emma Frost. All I cared about was the first appearance of Shadowcat, one of my favorite X-Men of all time. I still have the book, by the way. But that started my journey of, oh, these things are worth money, put them in bags and boards. And then when I'm 50, maybe I can liquidate it all and have a nice retirement bundle. Well, I'm 51, and now I'm seeing that it's a struggle just to sell these things. Number three, and I think this is a big one, especially for younger people, space constraints and moving. So look, as a guy, I got 18 long boxes. 3 of them are full of Nyobi books, which you can buy on my eBay, by the way. And they're bulky. They do take up a lot of room. They're kind of ugly. Like, we live in a society now where less is more, right? Like, I go to people's houses and it's immaculately clean. There is so little clutter, and anything that is displayed nicely. It's kind of hard to do that with these big old white boxes. Some people just don't want them in the house. It's just, they're heavy, they're ugly, they take up a lot of room, and they don't present nice. Loss of passion. Number 4, okay? Maybe the nostalgia just isn't there. Maybe, you try to hold on to something that just isn't grabbing you anymore. Like, I still love the X-Men, but the X-Men just doesn't do it for me the way it did 20 years ago. It just doesn't. I think people are just starting to look at these things and go, you know what? Yeah, I did like this stuff for a time, maybe even for a long time. But as we get older, and I think the comic book collector is aging out, dying out, we just go, you know what? There are other priorities in life. Other priorities. Number 5, family and legacy issues. So this is the thing. I thought, you know what? If I had kids, I would leave my comic book collection to the kids. And if I don't have kids, and I don't, I have nephews, I could leave my collection to my nephews. Here's the thing: I don't think they want them. I don't think kids have any interest in inheriting my 18 long boxes of comics at all. And if they did, they would try and sell them. You know what I mean? They're not interested. They are interested in video games, manga, Pokemon, you name it, anything but comic books. To them, comic books are like 8 tracks. It just is. Um, Pivoting to other investments or hobbies. Look, cards have taken over, right? I've seen a lot of people sort of dip out of the hobby of comic books into card collecting. And why? Well, they're easier to store. You can put them in binders. They're small. They're popular. They're easy to grade. Okay. It's just, having a collection of cards to me seems a lot more manageable than having 18 long boxes of comic books. It just is. Storage overload and maintenance costs. Overflowing units or shelves have become burdensome, especially with rising storage fees. Sellers are ditching to reclaim space. Uh, Echoing Nicholas Cage's quote of "Your collection owns you." Yeah, I think if you have a large collection, you are looking to downsize. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there's only so much room in someone's abode. Even if you have a storage unit, I had a friend that lost his entire storage unit because the payments weren't kept up, lost a bunch of comics, lost a bunch of original art, all down the drain. Inaccessibility and industry shifts. Here's another thing. Comic book shops used to be prevalent in the 90s. There was a comic book shop, maybe 2 or 3 in almost every town or city. Now there may be 1,000 comic book shops left, if that. And a lot of them are struggling. And a lot of them have changed to selling Pokemon cards, Warhammer 40K, board games, Dungeons and Dragons, statues, whatever it is, Funko Pops, anything but comics. So having a store nearby is not really a reality for a lot of people. They have to order online. That gets expensive. It's all about money. I mean, when it comes right down to it, this whole list is about money. Okay. Um, Peak timing for particular titles. So in comic books, we do see short-term spikes, but that's only because of hype of a movie or a television show, and that hype will last for a few months and then it dies out. And if the movie really sucks, well, guess what? So does the price of your comic book that you bought thinking that you were going to cash in on the quick flip. If you are doing the quick flip, you got to be quick with the quick flips. And number 10. And to me, this may be the biggest one outside of number 1, is aging out and generational gap. The core audience for comic books comes from the 80s and 90s boom. There'll be people before that, there'll be people after that, but the majority of us will talk fondly about the 80s and the 90s. The thing is that comic book companies didn't really cater to the generation coming up. They cater to the collector that had money. The guys that were in their 20s and 30s who are now in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. That's who they cater to, and they never try to really grab the younger generation. Okay, they just didn't. The industry focused more on variants and gimmicks over kid-friendly content, and manga came in and took that entire buyer base away from comic books. It just is. I think that a lot of people are looking to unload comic books more now than ever before. And I think that we're all kind of scared that we're not going to get the money that we're hoping that we were going to get. During COVID, a lot of people sold high and bought high. They would buy a book for $2,000, and then 6 months later, it was down to $1,200. They thought it would go up. It's like when I was running Nyobi Kickstarters and we were doing our $30,000 campaign. I never thought that was because of COVID. I thought that was because we were doing so well that there was no looking back. No, I was wrong. No, it was because of COVID. People had nothing to do. People had extra money. People were watching a lot more YouTube. People were looking for things to do with their time, including selling and making comic books. And then when that COVID economy crash happened, people are like, you know what? I don't have money to buy this stuff anymore. I'd rather buy eggs and gas. In fact, I'd rather sell than buy. And I think we're in a, in a market where everyone's trying to sell and no one really wants to buy. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what your opinion is down in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel, like and share out the video. Come see me live on Twitch, and we'll talk again real soon. And get to selling those comics, will you? All right. Thanks for enjoying and checking out the video. And if you made it this far, maybe you truly do still have an interest in comic books, and for that, I commend you. In fact, I'm still interested in comic books myself, which is why I still keep writing them and keep producing them. If you're interested in what I do and checking out our work, you can do that at Nyobi Comics on eBay.com. As you can see here, we got all kinds of wonderful items for you to check out, including Nyobi number 2, the remastered edition, $14.33 US. Hey, don't look at me. I price these things in Canadian dollars and eBay does the conversion. But significantly cheaper in the US than it is in Canada for you guys. How about Keith Garvey Outbreak number 1, 1648, right there. The Keith Garvey Outbreak number 2, set 2866. Outbreak number 3 by Narcilio Souza, 1505. Outbreak number 1, Elrardo Garcia. Sorry, Elrardo. $10. We got Outbreak number 3, the Keith Garvey Kickstarter exclusive, $17.91. Birthright number 1 and 2, the Steph Wilson set, $21.49. And as you can see, the list goes on and on. We even got the Chung Lee cosplay set for $46.57. John Stinsman of Image Comics Outbreak number 4 for $17 and change. Jamie Tyndall, $25 and change. If you want to catch up on Nyobi, maybe consider getting the Nyobi trade paperback for only $20. Guys, come on to the eBay store, check it all out, and thank you again for watching the video. Peace.